about any show these days, like for instance The Mandalorian or Peaky Blinders, The Penguin is an overrated show. Yes, a lot of people may think it is the next Sopranos or something like that, which I never have seen myself personally. But a lot of people are giving you the indication that this show is the best TV show in 20 years or something like that, which is clearly not the truth. And that's what I will turn my attention to today, because in my opinion, this show is overrated, and today I will be talking about 5 reasons to support my opinion on that. The first problem I will be talking about is the strong character problem. Naturally, the main character, the Penguin, is a much better character than anybody else involved. So is Sofia is also a decent character, for instance, but she is nowhere near the Penguin, which to my opinion also is too little involved, at least in the current act of Colin Farrell, which is when the show has the plot in real time. This show is of course about the Penguin and how he builds his criminal empire, but a certain part of the time, it does not feel like that, as Sofia has just as much of the screen time. A second problem, or reason for this show being overrated, is something I would call the emotional problem. In your first meeting with the show during the first 2 episodes, you perhaps thought this show would represent an ocean of wild and brutal violence on the screen, but the show decides more than most to focus on the emotional interactions between the characters. For example, the relation between Oz and his mom, the one between Oz and Victor Aguilar, as well as Sofia and her emotional baggage with her family, and her time at Arkham after being sent there by her father. This comes at a cost, where you often choose to focus more on the emotional mood, rather than focusing on the violence, which are often cut very short. For instance, the gassing from Sofia that is just done and montage-style filming, and you never feel the struggling of those about to be gassed. Maybe they could have begged for a laugh, at least make it more intense. Same with Wick and how he deals with that problem of the bullet where he just lures him into a back alley and kills him. When the writer could have said, "Are you sure you have the balls to kill me, Wick?" to make that scene better. In my opinion, we're trying to make a dark show about power, greed, ambition, and manipulation, not a show where you just try to talk people dead with emotion, which the end result really was. If we go to the third issue, we come to the Sofia problem, where we talk about her actually being the best villain in a DC movie or so since Heath Ledger's portrayal of Joker in The Dark Knight. Of course, although Christian Milotti does a decent role as the main villain here, it would be highly disrespectful to put her anyway close towards that performance, because here she is too far away. And I believe the case is just that we have seen so many badly written female characters that we hype up those that are decent characters into great characters. She is better than most female characters these days, but that's more than anything just an indication of how badly female characters are written these days, than that the character itself is great. I would also say that her screen time just might be a little too much. She has her own featured episode in the 4th one, when she is being arrested, locked up and toyed with at Arkham, and gets molded into Sofia the Hangman, and that may be classified as character building, but at the same time that might undermine the role of Oz in the show. Even though you see how he stabs her in the back to gain influence, which connects some of the dots, of course, as Oz was a driver, but at the same time, when you dedicate all this time to Sofia, it makes you feel just like in Hawkeye, for example, that the show just as well could be called A Legacy of Hawkeye. This show could perhaps be called Sofia and the Penguin. That's at least what you feel at times with her heavy presence in it. The 4th issue I have with the show is something I would like to call the can't hold a hook problem. It starts well in the first 2 episodes with a hefty tension with that main soundtrack going off like hell, with how Oz is gonna build his criminal empire, how he's gonna gut you like a fucking fish if you betrays him. You know that character Wick? That stuff of his childhood when he bought ice cream and such, how he talks in the car, and how he tries to play and manipulate everybody on his side. Getting out of tough situations, being tortured by Sofia. That body in the car trick, there's just so much good stuff that is never upheld in the episodes after that. In the 3rd and 4th episode, we go deep by seeing Wick and his past in Crown Point. You see the flashbacks of Sofia, as I told you about, but you also see the impact of the flashbacks with Oswald in his childhood when he locks his brothers in the sewer, and his toxic relationship with his mom. Of course, those flashbacks may have more relevance than what happens in shows such as The Terminalist, but it still does not change the fact that it slows down the show, especially in episode 6, when we could have focused more on how Sofia had a plan and it all got whacked by the Penguin, and managed to escape again. My 5th and final issue is something I will call the toxic femininity problem. It might be that Oz has a relationship to his mom, where he wants to do everything for her, and that she has molded him into a monster. But that does not change the fact that the way his mother talks to us, "You are my big strong ox," and things like that, is a promotion of toxic femininity. Same goes for Sofia, when she in the last episode have tied up us together with his mother, and is doing the psychological game to get us to admit how and why I killed his brothers by locking them inside a sewer. In addition, I believe that the whole character Vic Aguilar becomes a little bit too weak as a chess piece that gets exploited by us. In that way, he is portrayed like an insecure little wimp that stutters, but in the end becomes one of the best minions of this manipulative crime boss known as the Penguin. He gets tougher eventually and takes care of his own affairs by killing this bully from his life in Crown Point, but it is a general opinion that he is portrayed to be way too weak. Whether this is to promote toxic femininity or just to create a hard contrast between Wick and us is rather unknown. But it might be that it is like that in comics. Anyways, I still feel that this is an issue. So now you heard my reasons for it being overrated, and it is not that it is a bad show. I will still give it a 7 out of 10, but it is not that great or exceptional as a lot of people make it out to be.